Hello, hello, hello. It's Knits for Sanity and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me, whether you have been here many times before or this is your first time popping in. I'm happy to have you. Today I am doing what is called a WIP and chat. WIP stands for work in progress. So for me, that is working on this diamond painting. But for you, while you listen along, you can perhaps do a different craft, maybe get that chore done that you've been putting off, walk the dog. Whatever it is, let me help just keep you company for a little while. Helps fill your time and helps me get in free therapy. So today, just real briefly, what am I working on? I am doing a medium direct ship kit from Dreamerdesigns. I did do an unboxing on this item a couple of months ago. I love it. It is coming together so gorgeous. I'm actually doing this painting for an event called the Great Escape event, which is being hosted by Mickey Sunshine Creates and Rebecca with Crafting and Crime Daily. I'm going to link to both of their channels in my notes below. I will also link, of course, to all of the products that I am using whenever possible so that if you are interested, you can look into buying these things for yourself. So that is my kit that I am working on. My drill trays are Bella Art de Nicole. If you're familiar with me, you know that I am obsessed with my small 3.1 glitter green tray. I love green. I love glitter green. I love this tray because it just makes me so happy. And then I do have a large 3.1 grid tray that I'm using. I have found that I tend to use this. This painting has a lot of black outlining in it. And so I really like putting the black drills in here when I'm doing black. The grids is a new thing for me. I never tried using grids until July. No, well, really July, but very end of June when I was away at my first diamond painting retreat. I received, actually it's sitting right here, Great Lakes Escape event. I received a drill tray that was gridded at that event and discovered I actually really like it. But previously, I really thought I would not enjoy it. So using those, I have two different pins today. I'm finding right now I'm kind of like in between what works best for me. And really they say that if you're going to be diamond painting for any length of time, you should use a few different pins just to keep switching it up, help reduce fatigue. So we'll see which one I end up grabbing today. This is Butterfly Effect Wares. This is, I think it's Gem's Handmade Pens. My little trash drill container here, this is actually part of the Advent from Add More Zest last year. This is Bella Art de Nicole. Isn't this the cutest thing ever? It's just a little drill scoop. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So anyway, that gets you up to date on everything that I am working with and working on right now. Oh, the cover minder was a gift from a wonderful subscriber. So, there you go. That I think should be everything. Well, no, I didn't talk about, so the wax I'm using is actually the super sticky or extra sticky wax from Patty Wax. And I use that both for my single placer and my multi-placer. They do not recommend using it for most people who multi-place. For me, it's actually my preferred. I don't really like the regular Patty Wax, but the extra sticky or super sticky, or I can't remember what it's called, but it will be corrected in my notes. I've actually found that that's really what I prefer using. So that's what I use for everything. Sometimes I'll pull out some putty that I really like using, and sometimes I'll just go back for traditional wax. But right now, that is what I'm using, is from Patty Wax. All right, so it has been a long time since I've done an actual WIP and chat, and I know that. It's, for some of you, most of you actually probably watching this are already pretty much in the loop with my life and what's been happening. Just where I'm more, not even what's been happening, but more just where I'm at in life right now, which is that insanely busy period where I have children who are all very involved in different activities, cannot provide their own transportation, and we live in a very rural area. So I live in my car and the school year has started, which this year has added a whole new issue. Difficult, yes, but not bad. So I had made it known several months ago now that my middle daughter, who was really struggling at our local school, she is actually going to a different school that is 42 miles from our house. Yes, I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous to most people, except the schooling options around us are so limited that really this was kind of what we had. There are a couple of public schools that are closer, but looking into those, they didn't feel right. So she's actually going to, I was going to say the closest Catholic school, but it's kind of almost equal distance with another Catholic school, but definitely the shortest time frame to be able to get to this school. And she is thriving. She is doing so well there. It's like both a new kid and I have my old kid back. I have been amazed at the amount of confidence she has gotten back, at how outgoing she's become again, how social she's become. It is such a difference. And so even though it has definitely created some substantial scheduling problems, like logistical issues, I am so thankful to have my kid back. And and as parents, we do what we can for our kids, and sometimes we will stretch. That is a navy blue that's in with this black. I don't want navy blue. But we will stretch ourselves, and sometimes maybe stretch ourselves a little bit further than we should. But I can't help but have this perspective of, my life is on the downward slope now. I'm middle-aged. My kids, however, they have their entire future ahead of them. And I don't want to see any of my children reach a point of such low mental health, low self-esteem, that before they even reach adulthood, they've given up. And that's kind of where my daughter was at, and it needed to be fixed. And so far it's working. The school has been really very, very good. I think I mentioned too, they worked with us substantially for tuition. I'm not gonna lie, it is still a stretch for my family, but we're making it work. And this was a family decision. I had talked with both of my other daughters about it. They were very, very supportive. They knew my middle daughter was struggling. So it's good, but here we are. I'm actually living it, going, okay, this is really, really, really intense. Perhaps the most intense day will be like this coming Monday. All right, so bear with me here. I'm going to tell you about my Mondays, and specifically this coming Monday. My son has started his 4th year of dance. Yay! He loves it. Oh my goodness, he loves it. He is on an actual competition dance team this year. He is so excited. I am so proud of him. He he learned at his shoe fitting last week or 2 weeks ago that he is the boy who has been with this dance studio for the longest, and that just makes him so happy, because next year, after his 5th year in dance, he will get a 5-year award. And he wants to be the first boy at this dance studio to get that award. So this is his goal. Right now, he is on track to do it, and he is pumped. And I love him for it. I say all of this because his dance class is on Mondays. All right. Monday, my daughter, who goes to the school 42 miles away, has what's called a late start day, which, I mean, in theory, I love this. They don't start school until 8:45. Otherwise, they start at 8 o'clock, which, by the way, is so much better than my other girls' school starts at 7:15, I think. I mean, just way, 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 way too early. I've talked about it before. The CDC a couple of years ago came out with, national health crisis. Teens are not getting enough sleep. School should never begin before 9 a.m. But has anyone actually done anything about this? Not really. A few places they have, but like where I live, that's never, ever, ever going to happen. These kids are just going to be forever sleep deprived. So I love the idea of a late start Monday, but it does make things a little more difficult for some people. And my family, it's one of them. One thing that we have found that works to get my daughter to school is on days when I don't have other things that I'm doing down in that area with my job, my husband is most often able to take her to school, and then he travels to his dad's house to work. His dad does live in the area. Not super duper close, but maybe, I don't even know that he's 10 miles away. So close compared to 42 miles, right? So he just kind of packs up everything and he goes down and he works at his dad's house. And this is his third week doing that. And so far it's been working really, really well. And in some ways, I think it might be a really big blessing. Most of the time his dad is working himself. But last week, one day when my husband was down there, he was able to have lunch with his dad, and he came home and he was just so happy that he was able to have that time with his father. And so, this might really end up being a truly wonderful thing. Okay, well, Mondays, that's just not an option. I have to bring her into school because it's an 8:45 start time, and my husband begins work at 8. Sometimes he can push it to 8:30, but definitely there's no way that he could push it all the way to like 9:30, 9:45. So I have to bring her. Okay, well, that would be all right. But then there's this problem with my son and his dance class. So this coming Monday, I will drop my daughter off for her 8:45 start time. And then I have meetings for my main job at 10, at approximately 10 and 11. So I will be meeting with people from about 10 to noon. Because of the meetings that are happening, my guess is it actually will be more like 10 to 12:15 or 12:30. Then I am hoping to possibly meet with my supervisor for a little bit immediately afterward, because home office is just down the street from where I'm having these meetings, which, by the way, these meetings are even further south than where I have to take my daughter. It's like another 10 miles further south. So normally it'd be great, this is perfect. My whole day will pretty much be filled. I'll drop my daughter off. I'll go somewhere and I'll grab a coffee. I'll meet with my people. I'll meet with my supervisor. And really almost by the time I'm done meeting with my supervisor, I could go and get my kid from school. No, because my son has dance class. So I need to leave the area by 2 o'clock because I have to make it back to get my son from school at 3. Now, school for him actually ends more like 3:30, but because of when his dance class starts and because of having to get my son, who's in the 3rd grade, does not have any daughters. I will clarify that. But I have to get my daughter from her school and I have to get him to dance. So I have to get him at 3 o'clock. So I pick him up early from school. And then we drive back and I pick up my daughter from school. Then I drive him to dance class, which goes until 6:45 in the evening. We did it for the first time this past Monday. And it really, it went okay. It did. It went okay. My daughter was not happy. She got quite bored. I had warned her ahead of time, your brother has 2.5 hours worth of dance classes that you will need to make sure you have everything you need to do your homework, bring a book to read, but we're waiting. And she learned that waiting is kind of hard. And I said to her, this is my life, hon. This is what I do. I spend most of my life waiting for children. Probably not actually technically most of my life, but I spend a lot of my life just waiting for children. And I said, this is what it's like being a mother. And she's 14 and, sometimes things click. And she said, wow, yeah, I have a whole new appreciation for what you do and what you've gone through. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And she was really disheartened to hear that she will continue to do this at least until wrestling season begins, which is mid-November. So she has 2 months of doing this. And then when wrestling season is done, she's actually hoping to do a play, or is it the musical? I don't know. It will be some kind of theater production is what she wants to do in the spring. So this should be the longest stint that she'll have to just sit with me for that length of time while we wait for her brother to get done. Earliest we're home is 7:30 at night. So I leave the house at 7:30 in the morning, get home 7:30 at night, and in between I drive 200 miles. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. And this is kind of a regular thing right now. I have my other kids are doing their sports, which my middle daughter chose not to do cross country because of starting at a new school and everything. She was very nervous about feeling overwhelmed, getting herself burnt out. Specifically, she was worried about feeling burnt out when wrestling season began. And if you know my daughter, wrestling means just about everything to her. She adores the sport. Today, in one of her classes, she has to give a presentation about herself, which makes sense because it's like 60 different middle schools that come together into this one high school. So there are several kids like my daughter who may be the only or just about the only kid coming from their middle school to go to this high school. So in one of her classes, she has to do a PowerPoint and, just a really brief about you montage, if you will, with pictures and stuff like that. But one of the things that she needs to answer or address in this presentation is a cause that she is very passionate about. I bet you can all guess. If you know, you know. Yeah, it's about how important wrestling is, specifically women's wrestling, and her cause and passion is raising awareness for women's wrestling, encouraging more girls to be engaged in the sport, and in some ways, specifically at the higher levels of wrestling, she wants to see more Division I schools implement wrestling programs. And that is what she presented. Now, please do ask me, what class did she have to do this presentation in? Okay. Remember, Catholic school, which we are not actually Catholic, which is an adjustment for her. Only 13% of the student population is not raised Catholic. So that's already an adjustment. But Catholic school, passion for a cause, theology class. She gave this presentation today in theology class. So I am anxious to see how that went. She did say she did a rehearsal of it last night for her dad and me. And I asked her, well, how have the other kids' presentations been? And she said, not very good. So that encourages me a little bit, because I can tell, she did hers and she had actually put in some effort. So hopefully it will be okay. And, she presents a valid argument as to why this is a just cause. So I'm just thinking that it probably is not something that they will have ever heard before. Certainly not in theology. I did tell her, well, wrestling is one of the few sports that's sort of actually mentioned in the Bible. She thought that was pretty cool. Debatable as to, is it really truly, like the sport of wrestling? Because Jacob wrestled with an angel all night. I don't, but still, it's in there. It's mentioned. We'll take it, right? So she's not running, but my oldest is in her second year of cross country in high school. She is in 10th grade already. Oh, 10th grade. I can't believe it. So she is in her second year. She has worked very hard all summer. She has been training. She has been training quite consistently all summer long. She has wanted to improve. She has been working hard. Saturday, she had a meet, and it's a meet. They do it every year. It's at a university not far from her house. It's actually the alma mater of where her coach, well, technically he's the boys' coach, because now his wife is the girls' coach, but they run the programs together. So it's her coach too. And he was definitely her coach last year. But it's his alma mater. And so this meet, there's always an alumni run that happens first. And he does that. He's a young guy, mid-20s. He's only been teaching a few years. So while definitely impressive, it's not like somebody my age going out there and running an 8K in an alumni meet. There are people who do that. There are tons of people who do that. That's amazing. In this case, no, he's still pretty young, but he does that. And I think I love it. I think it is so good for the kids to see their coach involved like that. And then the kids get to cheer on their coach. This year, he just kind of barely made it back in time for the boys to start running. But that's okay. He did it. Like I said, I think it's great. I really admire that he does that. So Sylvia ran this year, and if you've never seen, it's an older Disney sports movie now, McFarland USA. You need to watch that movie. It is so good, based on, a true story. But I also like how it really highlights Hispanic culture. And it does really a pretty good job of it too. So go watch that movie. It's a Disney sports movie, so it's super inspirational. It's so good. But there is a scene in that movie where the coach, they're at, I believe, the state meet, and the coach is like, oh, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. And then he sees coming up over the hill an athlete, one of his runners that was just having the best run of his life that day. And he's like, that's not, and then this individual's name, I can't remember his name, Danny or Danny, I think it's Danny something. I don't remember what. That's not Danny. No, that's not And well, anyway, just that shock and like, oh my word, that is awesome. That's how I felt with my kid. I could not believe it. The first, our team's starters, if you will, they came running through, and I could not believe it. Shortly after that, there's my kid. I was flabbergasted. Then, then if you're not aware, cross country is about the most grueling sport for parents because you put on quite a bit of steps yourself. So then I, ran to catch her at another pass, and she had maintained her position. She was still trailing very closely behind one of her teammates. I was amazed. In the end, she finished 17th overall in the race. Top 20 received medals. She got her first cross-country medal. I was so proud of her. She was so excited. She was so proud of herself. Finished 17th overall. She finished 6th for the team, which is the highest she's ever finished. She finished 7th once last year. The reason why this is significant is your top 7 runners are really your varsity runners. Cross country is both a sport that it will take all kids, but for the kids that actually get to be true varsity runners, you have to be in the top 7. And then out of those top 7, they only use the top 5 to come up with your team score. And that's so, in case something happens, you have 2 extras. So you need a minimum of 5 runners in order to have a team for cross country. And then if you only have 5, you sure as heck better hope that all 5 are able to complete the race, or you don't get a team score and you are DQ'd. But Sylvia finished 6th, which means she is getting very close to having a time that will eventually count toward team points. That's a big deal. In addition, so not only is all this stuff awesome, medaling and actually finishing in a varsity position, she got a personal record, a PR, in her 2nd year of running by 126 seconds. Now do the math. That's 2 minutes and 6 seconds that she took off from her best time ever. That is almost unheard of for a 2nd year runner to cut off that much time. That is crazy. That is crazy good. Just amazing. I am so proud of her, and it was so awesome to see how excited she was of herself. And I think, knowing, hey, I can do this. Later Saturday, she said to me, I can't believe it, but I can be a good runner. Yeah, you can. You're putting in the work. You can be a good runner. You've proven it. So it was amazing. Oh, it was so awesome. So this weekend, now she has to run varsity. There are a few races that they do actually break up where you'll have varsity and then you'll have JV runners. And this weekend is one of those races, and she will be running varsity. Now, last year she did have to run varsity one other time. That was just this team was much smaller last year. It is at least 2 times larger, probably maybe even 2.5 times larger than what it was last year. And so last year it was just due to not enough runners, and her time was next in line. She consistently finished about 9th for time last year. And so she got moved up and had to run varsity one time. Of course, it was at Michigan's largest cross-country event that my daughter had to run varsity. She handled it in such good stride, though. Her goal was just, I don't want to finish last. And she didn't. She did not finish last. And she was thrilled with that. I was thrilled with that. But we're not going to talk anymore about that event because I hated that event. Oh, I hated that event. Anyway, so this weekend she's running varsity. I am very nervous and worried that she's not going to come anywhere near to how she performed this past weekend and what that might do to her psychologically. I hope that's not the case, but I know my kid. I know her history with sports. It is a genuine concern. But at the same time, if that is what happens, that's kind of part of learning and growing, right? Being able to experience those setbacks, and how are you going to handle that? Are you going to let that be what rates your season now? Or are you going to realize, no, I had this time before. I can get that time again. Now, some of that depends on the course. And some courses are much easier than other courses. So, yeah. But there's one course that the kids love running. It's the same day as homecoming. But the kids love doing it because it's a nice flat course. And that's where she got her PR last year. So there is one really good course coming up yet that she could actually get an even lower time than what she did this past weekend. So yes, so that daughter is back in cross country and thriving and doing fantastic. My other daughter, my youngest, my baby girl, after doing volleyball for the last 3 years and really enjoying the sport, last year was rough. Some of you are kind of familiar with kind of the stereotype, the trope that you think of when you think of volleyball, which is a lot of attitude, a lot of girl attitude. I mean, that's not always the case, and it certainly doesn't have to be that way, but there was a lot of girl attitude last year, and my daughter had decided, that's it, I'm done. I am not doing this again. And that's okay. You know, she's not none of my kids are terribly athletic. So the fact that I have this daughter who's like really busted butt and managed to finish with a varsity time in running is really pretty amazing. But you know, none of my kids are really very athletic. And so it's not like she was a phenomenal volleyball player, but she wasn't bad. She certainly was not given the credit that I feel like she was due. She earned points for the team consistently. You know, she did a pretty good job last year. Again, not a phenomenal player. I don't want to exaggerate her performance. But she did fine. But she is done, and yeah, she's done. So I said, that's fine. I never thought in a million years that she'd quit volleyball and then decide to do cross country. Of my children, she is really not a runner. She is not built like a runner. She's never enjoyed running. I mean, she was the kid when she played football. Yes, she played tackle football. She'd be one of the last kids when they'd have to run laps and stuff at the beginning of practice. She'd be about the last kid to come back in. I mean, painfully slow. Hated doing it. Not a runner. But she had decided already almost by the end of volleyball season last year, yeah, I'm going to do cross country now. And I kind of kept thinking, yeah, we'll see. You know, we'll see about that, being rather skeptical, right? Well, yesterday, she ran her first cross-country meet, and she finished. And for middle school, it's anywhere from 1.5 miles to 2 miles. It's not nearly as strict or as set as what it is for high school running, but anywhere from 1.5 miles to 2 miles. And it was a 2-mile course yesterday. So they started out at the high end of what they will do for distance as middle school. She finished it. She was definitely toward the back of the pack. I didn't care. I was so thrilled. I was so proud of her. This was hard for her. This is a hard thing for her to do. And she was out there and she did it. She finished that race. And I know she felt good about herself for getting it done, for doing it, for proving I can do this. I was so happy. So happy for her. And I hope she does improve. It's a short season. Middle school sports are short seasons, but I hope she sees some improvement these next few weeks. I don't know if this is something she's going to follow into high school. I really, truly don't. If she does, I think it would be awesome. The other thing that I really like is I'm pretty sure she does not run this weekend, but there are several meets where both the high school and the middle school run, which is really kind of a cool thing. Usually high school goes first and middle school goes after, which I always feel bad for the middle schoolers because it's like the party's there for the high school runners and then the party leaves. And so the middle schoolers sometimes literally are left with, there was music playing and there were decorations and food trucks to empty. And it's just, I feel like that's so unfair. These poor middle school kids. But it's not always like that. But I think it'll be really good because then my daughter can watch her older sister run. My oldest can watch her youngest sister run. And these two, part of the reason why I thought moving my middle daughter to a different school would be good was I thought it would be good for all of my girls. You know, my oldest and youngest daughter, they don't have a great relationship. It's not that it's bad versus like my middle daughter, my youngest daughter. Those two can fight. Those two will have probably the worst fights in the house. But at the same time, we make them share a room. And at the same time, sometimes they will have really close moments. But my oldest daughter and my youngest daughter, who are still only 2 grades apart, 8th and 10th grade, they've never really been close. They've never really developed a close relationship. And so I was really kind of hoping that by switching it up a little bit, this would be good for everyone. And I think it has been. I really think it has been. My middle daughter is totally gaining her confidence back. My oldest daughter is, I think, seeing more in her youngest sister than what she's noticed before. And my youngest, I think, is not feeling quite as overshadowed anymore by having 2 sisters in both of the grades right in front of her. So I think it's working. Anyway, yeah. What did that all stem from? I think probably about how busy my life is right now. Is that where that all came from, guys? I don't remember. I'm actually squeezing in this WIP and Chat before I have a kid that might be coming home from school early today. My youngest daughter sent me an email earlier today saying that she was not feeling very well and was thinking that she would maybe skip going to cross-country practice. And I told her that's fine, but I have prescriptions I need to pick up. But I didn't want to leave and have her come home to an empty house. I mean, obviously I could leave her a note and everything, but I just thought, no, it'd be better if I'm here. And that way, in case if she does come home, I can check in with her, see how she's really doing. COVID's been going around something fierce around here. So, check, are we looking at actual illness here, or are we just feeling fatigued because we did a 2-mile run yesterday in what was pretty warm weather. It was close to mid-80s, I think. So I thought, no, I think I'd rather just stay here and check in with her in case she does come home. My guess is she will come home. She very rarely complains about how she's feeling to start with. But then to even send me a message and say, I'm not feeling good. I think I can stay for the entire day, but then I think I need to come home. She'll be coming home. So I just want to be here. So I'm actually trying to get in this WIP and Chat before she gets home so I can check on her. And then I have to go and pick up some prescriptions. So that's kind of the plan. But that means that I don't have notes. I had actually started making notes for a WIP and Chat, covering something that I had asked you guys about. I don't remember if it was my last wipnchat, but I'd asked you if you'd be interested in me creating a video where I talk about starting a YouTube channel, and just offering, my tips and advice. Obviously, obviously this is for people kind of like me who they've always thought like, yeah, maybe I'd really enjoy having a YouTube channel, but you're not thinking, yes, I'm going to create a YouTube channel and I'm going to have 100,000 subscribers within 2 months. If that's what you want to do, that is fine. I have no problem with that, but I cannot give you advice. There are other people that have now made a living off from being able to instruct you on how to develop a channel like that. That person is obviously very clearly not me. Oh, hold on. I got my dog going a little crazy here. My dog was barking. I had times confused in my head. That was actually my daughter coming up the driveway that I was just talking about. For some reason I don't know why, because it's never been like this, but I thought she didn't get home for another 15 minutes. And I have no idea why that's the case. I'm struggling. I'm tired and I'm struggling with keeping everything straight. I mean, my planner, and I keep like an actual planner where I have to write stuff down in it. That's how my brain works. It is so full. It's so full. This morning, I woke my son up and got him ready for the bus. And then I fell back to sleep. My son comes and he says to me, Mom, when do we gotta go? Oh my word. I woke up so fast, grabbed my watch, and went, we have to go now. He put on his shoes so fast, ran to the end of the driveway. We just missed his bus. It was 2 minutes early. 2 minutes early. So we had missed it. And I thought, oh, darn it. Not the end of the world, because I could bring him to school today. That would have worked if I needed to, But my son, smart little man that he is, he says, no, it'll be okay because the bus comes back around. I'm like, are you sure? Yeah, it goes down that way and he's like pointing out the streets and then it comes back around. I said, and it drives right back in front of our house again? Yeah, he was right. Probably about 12 minutes later, 13 minutes later, sure enough, the bus pulled back around and she stopped. She picked him up. I told my son, please apologize to her. And I didn't hear him, but I did hear her say, oh, you're just fine. Don't worry about it. You're fine. So, thank goodness. Oh, yay. So I am definitely maybe a tad concerned about how I'm going to handle everything, like physically, emotionally. It is definitely a lot going on right now. With no really good solutions. I need to work, and actually we are still hardly making ends meet. Groceries are killing us. Gas is killing us. So I inquired about being a substitute teacher at my daughter's high school. I know. You're thinking, why on earth would you do that? But here's my thought. There's usually at least one day a week when my husband brings my daughter to class and then works at his dad's house, where technically speaking, I could work that day. So I could drive her down and then work that day and get paid for it, and at least, recoup some of the gas costs of traveling back and forth every day. And I feel like I gotta do it. I feel like we have no other options as a family. I enjoy teaching. I love working with teens. That's never really been the problem. It's always been dealing with admin and other things like that has been bonkers. So, I mean, I like doing it. Right now, I'm more concerned just about my own sanity. But, like I said, we need the money. And it's not even, yeah, my daughter has tuition, but it's way minimal compared to what it's supposed to be. That's not what's really hurting us. It is. It's if you are a lower middle income family like us, you know what I'm living. I know you know. But it's living in the middle of nowhere, and all of that driving around. It's hard. So I've put in the application for that yesterday, finally. I kind of put it off for a little bit. I was given the application. I got something stuck under here. I was sent the application last week, maybe Wednesday, Thursday. And yesterday I got an email back saying, another email just saying, hey, I did send you this application. I don't know if you have filled it out or if you didn't get it. So I'd actually started to work on filling it out over the weekend, and finished that up yesterday and submitted it. And I think 90 minutes later, I'm thinking it's then going to take a couple of days because you're actually getting employed by the diocese. So you need references, and I thought it'll take a couple of days. No, within 90 minutes, I had an email back. We would love to add you to our list of substitute teachers. Here's your onboarding packet. Please complete this and get back to me at your earliest convenience. Okay. And the onboarding packet is, of course, a lot more work because it involves fingerprinting again. I mean, yes, I have been fingerprinted to work in schools before, but I'm looking at a different county, completely different. Like, it's not even like in the public school districts because it's, it's with the diocese. So I have to schedule fingerprinting again. I have to pay for fingerprinting again. Plus all of these other forms that you have to fill out. There's a 3-hour training that I need to complete. And then I start thinking, do I have to? I really would love to spend the time with the kids, but do I have to do this? I'm tired. I'm so tired. But I feel like the answer is yes, I do. We reached the point where we're at the end of our second week now between my husband's paychecks, and guys, we got very little food left. It's playing a mad game of what can we throw together to eat is what, so I feel like, no, I do, because at least this would be one extra day of work every week, even if it's, low end of pay, hopefully no lower than $75 a day. That's still a few, up to 3 trips out of 5 that would be covered for gas, taking her to school every week. So I feel like I got to do it. Now, if I were one of those people that, had an interest in making a YouTube channel that would have 100,000 subscribers within 2 months, I wouldn't have to do that. But I am not one of those people. I enjoy what I do. I don't want to change it. And I am not gifted enough to create a channel like that. Like, these people, they know what they're doing. They know how to, they're brilliant. And I am not that person. And there is not a topic that is timely and trending that I'd want to do for that anyway. I don't even know why I'm talking about it like this, because it's not an option. I have no interest and no skill for that. I just like doing what I'm doing here. I like spending my time with all of you. I like being part of the crafting community. I like getting to know people in the crafting community. This is what I enjoy. I like offering my, I try to be very fair about my opinions and things like that. So anyway, didn't that all come from me saying that I had started writing up different tips and things to consider for if you wanted to start a YouTube channel? I think so. But then I didn't complete it and decided it would be better to quick try and put in a little WIP and chat now while I was waiting for my daughter to get home from school, who, by the way, still not sure that she's not sick, but leaning more strongly toward, I think she just, repercussions from yesterday. Just, hot day, first time running at a meet. That's still the direction I'm leaning. Time will tell, by tomorrow morning we'll know. So yeah, that's where that all started from, didn't it? I believe it did. I haven't even picked out a new color. Really, because I should probably about end this because I do need to go get those prescriptions. Deep breaths, right? Yes, deep breaths. My car has to go in again. Transmission's crap again. That's a whole story too. You guys, if you've been around, you know that one. I don't know when I can bring it in because we need 2 cars all the time. So I don't know. That's another problem too. We'll figure that one out. Eventually, somehow, we'll figure it out. We always do, right? That's life. You just keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. That's what you yell to cross-country runners too, especially those that are really, really struggling. The ones that, these poor kids, you see them walking and they just look like they have been through, a horrible storm. They're sweaty and defeated and their head is just, it looks like their neck cannot support their head anymore. Those are the kids you're like, just keep moving forward. You got this. Just keep moving forward. That's my motto for life. Just keep moving forward. So that's what I'm doing. That covers everything. I mean, honestly, today was just meant to kind of check back in with you guys, kind of give you the heads up for what's going on with the kids, because it's been a long time since I have been able to fill you in. And for those of you who have been with me for quite a while, I know that you do like to get those updates, and thank you. My kids always really appreciate your comments and your support. They don't always watch my videos, but they often do like to just kind of check in and see, oh, what has mom said about us? What is she? And what are people saying in return? Like, they like getting those little like Easter eggs. Like, oh yeah, I'm so proud of your daughter for doing that kind of stuff. So thank you for those of you who have stuck with me for quite some time now. And I've always offered that kind of support. All right, guys, this does wrap it up. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Most of you are long gone by now anyway, so I got to remember to start saying that at the beginning of the video. I don't think that's ever going to happen. And like I always say, please practice kindness. Just, you never know what someone's day has been like, and your little bit of extra patience and kindness shown toward them at the supermarket or whatever could really be a game changer for them. So just please practice patience, practice kindness. I hope that you are having a wonderful day, and I'll see you again real soon.